What up? Zach Bradshaw, long-winded guy, back to talk about some charts. Um, just had to get this one in because last night I made a bad decision or a good decision. It's hard to really tell, but I made a different decision. As I saw this price crashing here, I thought it might be a bounce, so I wanted to catch some of the dips or catch the dip. And the way that it played out was you had this first hourly candle here. Um, that was like, oh, okay, it's broken this level, it's closed below this, and there may be more downside here, or this could be the beginning of a bounce that comes back up here, or it could drop lower before it decides to bounce. At the same time, Ethereum was doing something similar. I'm not as familiar with the Ethereum chart, and just generally speaking, this one does not look as good as this one. This one looks more constructive, in my opinion, with the higher lows and higher highs going up. This one was stuck on an ascending triangle, not growing with each of these. Then it started to ascend here, but it's been looking like it wanted to roll over. And that's kind of how it looks right now, is that it has rolled over. Well, what I ended up doing, because I wanted to go to sleep and this was happening like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I set in a stop loss um, as I saw this thing falling. So if I get down to a 1 hour here, this stop loss came in at this level of, oh wait, this is the daily. I'm sorry. That's not how that looked. So this stop loss came in at the bottom of this wick. So I saw this wick and I thought, okay, this one may be, same way I was looking at the Bitcoin chart, and I thought that this one may be the full bounce or the full down and then bounce. I thought this one may be the full down and then bounce. But I did notice that there was still a gap down here to this trend line that I've been looking at. So I was like, if it goes below that, I probably want to get out because it might go down to this trend line. And it may even, take a little bit longer, but go all the way down here. As it looks, it ended up being a bounce, which means that this was kind of a bad sell because I've sold out at about 7:30 when now it's at 780 or I'm sorry, 17:30 and 1780. So if I would have just held it, I would have gained some of my percentage back just to see where, I lost out on 3% worth of Ethereum gains. But if we go and we look at this on something like a 12-hour chart, which is right, the beginning of this was happening on this 1 hour chart, like I said, 9 or 10 o'clock last night. Okay, so this one was the 8 o'clock hour, 8 to 9. This one was the 9 to 10 o'clock hour. And I put in my stop loss during this hour, probably while it was up here. I put in my stop loss right here because I wanted to go to sleep. And I was still awake for this, but I was, basically watching TV, ready to go to sleep. And so I didn't catch this bounce, and I'm not as sure about this chart. This one does not look as good to me as the Bitcoin chart. But if I go back up to a 12-hour this is the finishing of that move as I woke up, this just ends up being one candle that actually looks extremely bullish. This looks like a great candle that's saying that the chart is going to continue to go up. And if we look over here on Bitcoin, you basically get the same thing. So we have a 12-hour candle right here that broke down to this level where I've now drawn in a couple more horizontals here. It broke down to this level and then it came back up and closed above this moving average and above this important level here. On Ethereum, I don't have as good a horizontal levels drawn in. Maybe I should erase all these stupid little wedges and start to put those in so that I can, have a good sense of it. However, it is really easy to see that this is a bullish set of candles, although I'm not sure this is, I'm going to refresh this because I'm not sure Coinigy is showing me the right thing. Let me just double check. Okay, so yeah, it is. Well, now it's, okay, now it's a daily chart. Okay. Okay, so it was showing me the right candles. I was just making sure. But you see the wick on this candle for Ethereum is about 7%. The one over here for Bitcoin is not as high a percent, right? There's only about a 4, maybe 4.5% wick here. But to me, and maybe it's just because I don't have good horizontal levels drawn in, I have these ugly wedges. But to me, well, the more I'm looking at it, the less I'm thinking that. The next few 12-hour candles on Ethereum will really determine a lot. If they start to close below basically this level here, so let me they start to close below this horizontal on a 12-hour, and so this would be every basically 7 a.m., 7 p.m., 7 a.m., 7 p.m. It's where it matters where this price is. If it closed below this line, then I would expect more downside. But now that I'm looking at this chart, I was actually starting this video to say, well, Bitcoin's rebound looked a little bit healthier. I mean, it does to a degree. It's closer to like the line that is holding it down, so to speak. Um, I would put Ethereum's up here. So like if I was going to give it another horizontal, it would be right here. If I was going to do the horizontals for Bitcoin, this one was already drawn in. But I'd have my other one up here, which um, this one just seems, well, now this one, now I'm looking at it, it's below this line that I'd probably relate to Ethereum's. Well, no, that's not. It's hard for me to tell which one of these is healthier at this point. But basically what I did last night, so you see this is one, I sold some of my Ethereum here. I think it was like zero point 0.2 Ethereum. And mind you, this is Ethereum that I bought down here. So that's part of why I'm selling out here is because I want to make sure that I lock in my profit and don't miss it if it comes all the way back down to the prices that I bought it before, which if it came back down here, I'd probably buy again to sell again. But if I don't sell it up here, then I won't have any cash to then buy more Ethereum. Or what I ended up doing last night was I bought Bitcoin because I'm not as sure about the Ethereum chart. Maybe I should have just had stronger hands and held it. But what I did do is I was able to buy Bitcoin. So I guess I can show you my sell on Ethereum too. Um, I sold before at 1750. Just I think because I want to get into more into Bitcoin. Maybe I made a video about that. I don't think so though. And then this is the one that stopped me out. So this is probably about $300 worth of Ethereum here. Probably 340 or something like that. Oh yeah, just double that basically. So yeah, 340 worth of Ethereum that I sold basically to get more cash on hand. Probably bought me to about $500 because I made some other sales as well. To get more cash on hand to be able to buy the dip on Bitcoin, which I could see Bitcoin's levels and I knew its levels where it might come down to. Obviously, it looks like I knew Ethereum's levels too, and maybe I should have bought some here when when I bought some Bitcoin as well. But what I did buy was Bitcoin down here at the tip of the wick. So I sold out of Ethereum to buy into Bitcoin. This may have not been the best idea. But what I did was I cleared some cash so that I could make a buy that I knew was a good buy down here at 45.9, which would have been, you know, just below this 46 on the tippity tip of this wick. That I was able to get a nice buy in that by the time this candle was over, I'd already been up 4% or something like that. And now from the place that I bought to where the current price is, I'm probably at about, oh, well, I guess I'm about 4% right now because it's come down some from where this close was on the 12-hour. But I was able to, you know, fold over some of my stack. I'm gonna, if it comes back down and maybe closes below this line, I'll get back out again, probably with like a 1% gain, which, I mean, with a 2% gain, which will be a 1% gain because of fees for individual trades. So just wanted to record these. I'm not sure that I made the best decision, but I wanted to document the decisions that I made so that I can continue to become a better trader using, you know, experience, basically folding over my experience by recording it. The way that this Ethereum Bitcoin chart to me still looks like crap, but that doesn't mean that I'm sure of what is going to come. And I see something like that where we're getting higher lows and we're getting higher. I'm sorry, we're getting lower lows and we're getting higher highs. So I don't know which direction this one is trending. If I wanted to zoom out and like this is a 12 hour, so that's the chart that I like, and it's pretty, it's medium term, kind of long term. But if we go to a chart more like this, we have higher highs here, and we're looking to set in the lower low. So this would be, leaning towards Ethereum, except that we're breaking levels that I think that. I'm not totally sure about this chart, right? But levels that I would expect that we need to maintain, like this one, or that Ethereum would need to maintain to continue to go up. But it does have plenty of room down here to come in and set a strong lower, or I'm sorry, a strong higher high that then could, support the next bit of price action up to, I don't know, a level like right here. Will probably be a next one if it did break up. Here, here, here. But that's it on this one. I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but I know that I got a decent little buy in here by paying attention to these levels and buying this dip. A decent buy, was it really? Because I sold out of Ethereum, which is doing further percentages right now. I like the way that the Bitcoin chart looks better because I'm more familiar with it, and I mean, it looks better overall, in my opinion. But the Ethereum chart, the moves that it makes are a much wide, or not to say much, but several percentage points more in terms of the range, because the price ranges are, the actual price itself is lower, and the overall money in the market and maturity of Ethereum is much lower. So smaller amounts of money can move it a lot more in terms of percentage, not just the raw price, but moving in terms of percentage. And Bitcoin is getting to them big boy dollars that, it takes Bank of America or Uber or Tesla to get in to make a big move. Ethereum, it's probably a better one to trade, but this is a vicious stop out right here. This is vicious compared to a Bitcoin where, well, let's see, comparing the two levels where they came down. I guess this was probably, the levels are different, but like this is probably Ethereum's level. Let's see what the dates are if I got this right. 2423. Ethereum's level, that's right here. No. Oh, so Bitcoin's all the way down here. Oh, yes. Bitcoin's chart looks so much better than Ethereum's. Okay, so this down right here was 210. Wow, yeah, so worse than I thought. So this level, okay, let me clean this up. So like if I was gonna like match up my little green box that I have over on the other one, it would have been basically from these wicks. Bitcoin didn't make it down to its green box. That was from the lows from the 10th. Ethereum smashed through those lows. Still closed way above it, but Ethereum smashed through those lows, and I'm not as familiar with the chart. Maybe this was a more important level down here. So for me specifically, I'm going to go ahead and do one of those. Go ahead and do that and do this and try to set in levels more like the ones I set in with Bitcoin. But see, this would be a harder chart for me to trade because this is telling me uptrend. I mean, it's significantly higher where this wick was. And if you look at the top of these candles that actually came down here and touched these, Bitcoin is closing above those, well above those, and hasn't ever really closed below this line right here. Well, Ethereum is closing it. So here's the top of those, of the same candles that touch that, and it's closing in like the same area as it, and it's had several closes in that little zone. And so it's, to me, the chart does not look as healthy. However, the percentages from, for example, too many little things on my chart right now. Percentages from here to the top is 12%. Well, the percentages for Bitcoin from there to the top are probably not even going to be 10%. So yeah, 8%. Pull it down just a little bit. 8.5%. Pull this one down just a little bit as well. And this one's a little bit over 12%. So the moves in Ethereum are a higher percentage, but they're also easier for you to get stopped out. When this should have been a level of support, it broke all the way through it. And on Bitcoin, this was an obvious buy, and it's not even, if it would have made it all the way to this green box, it would have been an even more obvious buy that I would expect to at least have bounced here. So it wouldn't have been the same range, but still would have been a solid 7%. If Ethereum, like, I'm not sure what its next range would have been, right? Probably down to here. I need to start to look at horizontals a little bit more on this one. Probably even throw up some indicators so I know what moving averages this thing likes to play off of. But on this 12-hour chart, this isn't coming down and tapping anything that interests me. 12-hour chart on this one, it wasn't, but maybe it was the 4-hour, 2-hour. Oh yeah, the 2-hour came down and tested this 89. Let's see if Ethereum did anything like that that could have helped you understand that was a buy here. Now this this horizontal is looking very good, but this horizontal is largely set in because of this one, so it probably wouldn't have been here, right? Even if I was doing horizontals, it probably wouldn't have been here for this one. And I guess you could say this came down and tested the 200 exponential and simple, but I don't know that that's a really good test. I'm not used to looking at this chart to know what it likes to play off of, but I do see that's a nice buy off of the 4-hour 89. Bitcoin did not make it all the way down to its 4-hour 89, which would have been much lower and would have, similarly, it would have been breaking this, right? So if Bitcoin would have made it to its 89 exponential moving average, it would have broken the green box the same way that when this one did, it supremely broke through the green box. So right, if I look at them long enough, they're going to look like variations of the same chart. And maybe that's what I should do, just so I could have seen that, oh, this was a buy for Ethereum as well, as a buy for Bitcoin. Now I knew if this was going to be a buy for Bitcoin, this was going to be a long wick, that it was probably going to be a good buy for Ethereum as well. But between the two of them, if Ethereum goes down, I feel like my losses are going to be much worse than if Bitcoin goes down, partially because I can pick the levels, but partially because moving in smaller percentages on the upside and on the downside. So probably could have cut this video at 10 minutes. Here I am 20 minutes in, so I'll go ahead and shut up. Anybody who's watching these and has a question for me, go ahead and shoot, and I'll be happy to help. Though there's much better traders that you could watch to get chart advice on. I'm doing this as, to learn and also to, help a couple of people. But I'm not, even you guys should choose somebody else for help. And maybe, use us together to, match things up and, cross-reference your trading ideas. So that's it for this one. Peace.